The United States spends tens of billions of dollars every year to operate a sprawling, highly mechanized system of human containment. This entire architecture relies on the logic of deterrence, the theory that the state can force people toward legal paths by artificially inflating the cost of wrongdoing through heavy policing and harsh sentences. In practice, that equation collapses. We often lean on the comforting myth that crime is an anomaly, the result of bad individuals making bad choices in a vacuum. This pattern suggests something different. Aggregated crime is highly patterned and probabilistic, directly shaped by the constraints of the surrounding environment. The current social organization of the United States reliably generates the conditions under which crime becomes rational and predictable. We are looking at a system output. Shifting to this perspective requires us to look past individual pathology and start analyzing the machine that actively produces these results. This flowchart maps specific pressures applied to the population: stagnant wages, speculative housing, and inaccessible healthcare. Applying this extreme precarity makes resulting behaviors statistically predictable. What the system labels crime is often rational adaptation, survival through theft, informal economies, and violence. As legal pathways to survival disappear, illegal options become the most viable strategies for staying afloat. The probability of crime rises in direct proportion to the level of systemic pressure. These outcomes represent the system working exactly as designed, predictable features of a structure built on extreme economic precarity. This creates a fundamental contradiction. The same social structure that generates these outputs then deploys armed force to contain them. Policing operates as a downstream mechanism. Historically, its role has been to protect property relations and manage the unrest caused by systemic inequality. Entire industries now profit from this arrangement. Private prisons, surveillance firms, and the manufacturers of high-tech equipment like this body camera rely on a steady stream of crime to generate revenue. Scholars like Angela Davis have spent decades mapping these dynamics, detailing how the justice system functions as a tool of social control and class power. This analysis aligns with the work of Michel Foucault, who traced how modern systems of discipline and surveillance evolved to manage surplus populations. Because the management and monetization of crime is so lucrative, the system lacks a structural incentive to actually eliminate its root causes. If crime is a structural output, cosmetic reforms are ineffective. Changing training protocols or camera policies adjusts the interface without altering the engine of the machine. Empirical data on housing-first models shows a different path. When the immediate threat of homelessness is removed, reoffending drops dramatically. We see similar results with universal healthcare and living wages. Providing addiction treatment breaks the cycle of churning sick people through jail cells. These interventions succeed by shifting a person's material constraints. When the environmental pressure lifts, the rational choices available to an individual expand. True public safety requires the decommodification of basic needs. Expanding legal, viable options for survival is the most direct way to shrink the necessity for criminalized behavior. The mainstream political debate remains narrow, forcing a choice between harsher sentences or lighter ones. Scholars like Michelle Alexander provide the data-driven framework necessary to move past those limits and toward a genuine decarceration of society. Ultimately, we have to decide what kind of society we are trying to build. We can continue to manage the fallout of gross inequality through brute force, or we can reduce that inequality until force becomes less necessary. Until we confront that political choice, the cycle of crackdown and resurgence will repeat indefinitely. The machine is working exactly as designed.